Welcome and thank you for joining us today for this Ask Me Anything webinar with the Verzion AdFellows program. My name is Ann Strickland, and I'll be your host and moderator today. As we get started, I encourage you to turn your camera on and leave it on. The meeting's being recorded, and we'll send out the recording early next week so you can share with colleagues or coworkers who were not able to make it today. AdFellows is the first and only industry fellowship program dedicated to increasing diversity in the marketing and ad industry. It's an 8-month program that offers 1 brand and 3 agency rotations in the best companies in the business. Fellows gain valuable real-world experience and mentorship as they kick off their careers. Today, I'm joined by Michelle Joseph, CSR Manager for Verzion. Michelle will take some time to share with us about the program and then answer any of your questions. Welcome, Michelle. Take it away.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. Just a little bit about me. I've been with Verzion 7 years in the role of a strategist. I've been primarily focused on this issue of access and education, which I think permeates so many different topics. Prior to that, I spent 20 years in public education. Started off my first passion as a history teacher, high school, had an opportunity to serve as a building principal in the Bronx, and also lead some innovative work with the New York City Department of Ed. So really passionate about this space. I want this engagement to be super interactive. So please feel free at any time to come on mic, ask a question, and really delve into what this opportunity means, why it's so needed. And of course, is there opportunities within your audience to support this work? So that's my selfish outcomes as we delve in. So I'm going to share my screen and just want to ensure that everyone can see. So if we can everyone see my screen okay?
We can.
Okay, wonderful. So I think this opening slide is really my favorite because it sums up the program in so many meaningful ways. Marketing and advertising is a complex, dynamic industry, and finding your path in this space, especially for underserved candidates, is really, one of the critical barriers I think we're having. So our goal is to be a part of finding your path if you're interested in marketing and advertising, and ultimately helping you make your mark. So that is the opportunity, the invite to diverse candidates who are really interested in this space of marketing and advertising. So we encourage them to become an ad fellow. So I want to jump into really and truly what we stand for. As we think about, different talent pipeline programs, ultimately, it's to get the talent in the door. But I think fundamentally, there's a bigger issue at play here. So it's important to understand what are the key elements of AdFellows, what is this program about? And I think in doing so, we'll have candidates who are more informed and stakeholders, the messengers to the program, who can just very much speak to what exactly is this opportunity. So one of the things that we all know, regardless of what industry you're in, everyone needs voice. I think more so now than ever, there is this huge understanding and realization that there's a gap in this industry with certain voices. And that really is, the core of this issue. There's a limited or lack of diversity and inclusion in the marketing and advertising world. And as a result, what we're hoping to do is really penetrate this space, not through talk, not through conversation, but through human beings, by really identifying talent, bringing them to the table and creating a new space for some diverse individuals. And that's ultimately our goal. Like I mentioned, I started off my career as a history teacher. So I always tell folks, my pedagogical background says you have to think with the end in mind. So we know what the problem is, we know the history, what do we want to do about it, and how does it show up? And we're super intentional as a program about making an impact. So we hang our hats on really 2 key data points. The first one is, are folks getting jobs? It's good to have conversations, it's good to have programs, but ultimately is that leading to full-time position that has the ability to change their professional pathways, their economic pathways. So jobs is a critical component of this program. Thus far, in our last 4 classes, we've been able to maintain 98% job placement for the fellows that's come through this program. Our target is 90%. Our 4.0 class that I just graduated in June, we had 100% job placement. The other critical issue that we know is that even though we get folks into this industry, we need them to stay. There's a vision of C-suite that we have in our mind, and that requires a little bit of resilience and stay within this. So retention is extremely important to us. Are folks staying in the industry in the long term and moving up the ladder? And we track our fellows. Of our 4 classes that we've launched so far, 95% of our AdFellows are still in this industry. So these are the important kind of major data sets that we hold true, and we build the program really to lead to those outcomes. So what makes this unique? What's our secret sauce? The first one that we really lean into is that the marketing world is dynamic. And as a result, AdFellows, anyone who's interested in this space needs to understand there's 2 worlds. There's the brand marketing world and there's the agency marketing world. And they should be exposed to that, have access to it. So in order to create that kind of opportunity, we offer multiple rotational experiences. So our AdFellows over the course of that 8 months is not with one partner. They're actually with 4 different partners for 8-week intervals, getting multiple work experience. Marketing is not something everyone thinks about as a career. Everything is being sold, but you don't see the back end engine behind it. So one of the things that we've realized, especially with underserved and underrepresented candidates, is that they may have an aptitude for it. They may be a psych major. They may have been a history major, an English major, a computer science major, but not necessarily a marketing or communications major. So built into the program, so we can cater to the needs of those individuals, is professional development. We have 4 learning labs, 4 days that we pull them out, bring them together, and really do some formalized learning so everyone is anchored on what marketing truly is and its essentials. Folks are making decisions based on their purse strings. I can't imagine if I was graduating from college in 2021, the job market, the volatility of things, the uncertainty of things, the student loan that you have to pay back. So this is a paid fellowship, 40 hours a week, paid to the AdFellows at a rate of $23 an hour. Because we're also offering in-person opportunity for New York City for our 6.0 class, we also offer a relocation stipend. That relocation stipend will be $12,000 per fellow that has to relocate to New York City. The last 2 pieces of this program is around job placement. I told you we start with the end in mind. So ultimately, the goal is to drive placement at one of our partners or ultimately within the industry. We know the industry is plagued with issues. That's a given, it's systemic. And we work closely with our partners. So just ensuring that everyone, partner, AdFellow, really understand that inclusivity is intentional within this program, who your mentors are, who your assignments are, the work that you're exposed to, the presenters we bring in before you, all of those things are cared for. So I'm going to stop there because I know this is a big slide, a lot of, critical content, and see if there's any questions.
Just a reminder to our guests today, please feel free to come on camera and come off mute. And Michelle would be glad to field any of the questions you have as we move along.
Okay. So who makes this possible, right? I worked for Verizon and we were the originators of this. But again, we really want to impress upon this is an industry initiative. And we're trying to really shape and change and mold, as we go into this next era of all industries. And in order to do that, we have a combination of 2 groups, right? So at the top, you'll see our key brands. Verizon represents technology. We have American Express, who's in the finance. We have Anheuser-Busch, that's in the food and beverage. We have, all other partners like Pentagram, which is a giant unto itself in the design and creative space. And then we have some interesting configurations like Civic, which lives under the Ryan Seacrest brand that does so much experiential work in marketing. and then smaller brands like Petco. So what we attempt to do with our configuration of partners is ensure that AdFellows really have a diverse exposure to this industry, not just from the work assignment, but the type of organization they go to, large or small. You know, the systems, agencies, like the community in Miami is a totally different beast from an Accenture, which is very much more structured. So just helping them really get a deeper understanding of all the nuances that can inform a great decision when job placement comes and leads to them staying, leads to them moving up faster, and ultimately leads to leadership opportunities. So who are we looking for? Sure.
No, seemed like you're about to explain it, so I'll stop. So I'll be quiet and listen. Thank you.
Okay, so who are we looking for our AdFellows? And as I mentioned to you, the experience, there will be in-person expectations. You know, with the COVID environment, we want to just let you know that is our intention. If things change and we have to go back to virtual, that's a possibility. But, you know, blue sky, we really hope in August we will be able to at least convene our AdFellows for in-person learning labs and or rotations based on partner needs. That will require relocation to New York City. And I mentioned how that's cared for with a relocation stipend. Job placement, always top of mind. So if you have candidates graduating in May, you know, do they want to take a chance on this if they have like an offer in front of them? We would encourage them to explore this because it's paid during the time of it. And we do make really good results with ultimate placement. We've done virtual now for 2 sessions. So we've done 4.0 and 5.0 fully virtual. We've learned a lot. So I anticipate that 6.0 is going to reap the benefits of that. We're really having a fully blended, robust work experience that will lead to some powerful outcomes. Who we're looking for, national. So we're not looking for candidates just from the New York or tri-state area. Mississippi, I was just in New Orleans. You know, we really want to have a diversity of not just location, but personalities, cultures, background. So we are definitely looking for candidates from nationally. We are leaning into folks who are interested in 3 forms of marketing: general, creative. So those are the art directors, the copywriters, and then analytics. This whole new insight space is really taking shape. So we really want to offer folks the opportunity. So those are the 3 areas we're looking for. They have to commit for the 8 months. They can't do a rotation and then say, oh, you know, I want to move on. It's a huge investment on the part of all the partners. So we are looking for that kind of long-term commitment of that 8 months. Pay and relocation is covered and cared for, and it's competitive. The candidates must have earned a bachelor's degree. So you must have earned a full bachelor's degree as of acceptance to the program. So no later than May of 2022, they should have earned that degree. We are a hugely competitive program. So our candidates who seem to make it in tend to have a 3.0 and higher. And then, of course, they must be able to work in the United States. So we don't offer sponsorship or any of those additives. The window, of course, for recruitment, this is the last leg. Our deadline is 1/15. January 15th is when the last day for folks to submit their application. Once we have those applications in hand, we will then, from February through March, work with our 5.0 partners, our current roster of partners, to interview and select, you know, potentially 30 to 35 AdFellows who will make up our 6.0 class. We hope to identify that group by April or May of 2022, but the goal is they would start the program in August, right? Here are some of the descriptors that we're looking for that gives you a little bit more specificity into who these candidates are. Our general, if they have a general interest, analytics is highlighted in red, just some additional expertise that we would like to have those candidates have. And then, of course, for our creative candidates, again, broad scope of expertise that we're looking for. And then what are some of the extra skill sets that we'd like them to have. I'm going to pause there and see if that answered the question before we go through what the journey looks like.
The answer is yes. Is the candidate I'm thinking of from a GPA perspective does not match what she has a bachelor's already, and she's very interested in creative, but the GPA is not a match. It's slightly off. So
yeah, it's very competitive. I know for our 5.0 class, we got close to 300 applications, for a selection of 27. So it's competitive. I do say that. The journey, what happens with that fellow, right? So they're relocated to New York, they're settled in. So we do spend some time to onboard and induct them. It is a community. We'll have approximately 134 alumni that's super engaged with this program. They'll be given a mentor for the duration of the 8 months, a one-to-one mentor. They'll be given an alumni buddy, someone who's been through the program, who they can have a go-to person. And then they'll experience 4 rotations, approximately 8 weeks. At those rotations, they'll be given real assignments. We have AdFellows this year that worked on the Super Bowl. So they're getting things that's going into market. The team that we have now is doing a huge Verzion launch for 1.5. So they're seeing the work in action. This is not a made up project. They have real deliverables. They'll have a manager that they're assigned to, and we also want it to be a learning experience. So we have performance evaluations built in where they will get feedback. We have some core competencies we want them to lean into that's just expected of great professionals. So all of those opportunities are built in. The other key thing you'll see is the team project. And what we like to do is give them something that they can own. So we break them into groups, but we do ask our brands to say, hey, what's an issue that you're having that you would love a talented group to really address for you? So we ask them for a brand challenge, which drives the team projects. And the AdFellows have an opportunity to actually come up with some cool solutions to those challenges. And they share that out at Learning Lab 4 in a Shark's Tank style of environment. Some of our partners have seen great value with it and definitely, leveraged it beyond the AdFellows. And then, of course, there is graduation, right? It's a huge event. We like to celebrate these milestones. So the last one, second to last one, Pharrell was, our keynote. This year, we were happy to have Spike Lee join us for our graduation. So we do make it a huge celebratory moment in their lives as they take the next step, which is, continuing to grow their career. And this is probably my poster child. I love Jordan. He started with us from the very beginning. And then this, I think, is a perfect example of a small town young man who just didn't think New York City and major accounting, marketing life would be for him. He came here, he totally, said to us, I'm petrified. But as a young man of color, this was something that was empowering to him. He got over so much of his nervousness through the victories that he accomplished with doing the job and building a network that was really supportive. One of his rotation sites was at McCann. He ultimately landed a position upon graduation from the program, and he's been promoted 3 times there, in the last 3 years. So just, the power of this program, of what that one decision made and how it can lead to just impactful journey. So this is the program in a nutshell. And I'll pause there and open the room up for questions. Any?
Jack Crumley, Tuskegee University. Again, great job, Ms. Joseph, in the presentation. With the presentation, I think I've had some thoughts. people in mind. The only concern I have I've already talked about one. There's another one that really wants to be in this space, but I'm not sure when she's graduating. So that's the only concern. So
Yeah.
seem like the rotations are annual. So I'll just follow up with the candidate to see where what her scheduled.
One of the things we've seen in regards to just your alumni base, so you're looking at your current roster, but with the market, the economy, folks kind of just having a lot of reflective moments, we've seen a growing number of career changers.
Oh yes, I agree.
Yeah. So there's that opportunity to get it out to your alumni, to see, hey, is anyone maybe looking to explore this? And this may be a pathway for them to kind of, safely, with a safety net, delve into it and ultimately make a decision.
When you say recent grads, you're talking about within the past couple of years. Would you? Yeah,
probably the last 5 to 7 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. That's what we're seeing. The 5-year folks are the ones who are kind of rethinking things. And we have 5.0 class. We had a couple of folks came in with over 6 years experience in switching up.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll keep that in mind, Ms. Johnson. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'm assuming you're going to, have you already sent us information regarding AdFellows, or do you?
No, this was our first, so we just wanted to have a session to ask me anything. We have this. The other thing I'll send out to you, we have a recruitment toolkit, because we know sometimes we want to share, but in a digital age, everything is transformed. So our recruitment toolkit will provide you with social media posts if you want to just post it on your different platforms. We have some digital one-pagers. I know many of you have websites and you advertise different opportunities. You have newsletters. So we wanted to really just create a user-friendly resource that allows you to quickly diffuse that information through your network. So we will also share along with this, the recruitment toolkit. So you'll have those assets to leverage.
Okay, sounds great.
Any other? I can kind of just give you where our gaps are, just because of the audience. I think one of the areas that we're really leaning into and trying to get a better grasp on is Black and Latino men. There is a huge disparity. As you guys probably know, the marketing and advertising world is actually more female than male. And when we look at certain groups, specifically the diversity amongst Black and brown men, it's much more significantly underrepresented than other diverse groups. So we have been super intentional with just kind of figuring out how can we build awareness, because we know folks are out there, they're in college, and maybe the channels of outreach. So even when we think about fraternities, and different social networks that they're in, and they actually gather a tremendous amount of information, resources, they build their networks. So as you receive the recruitment toolkit, yes, your alumni network and, the traditional path, but also sharing it with some of those groups, I think may lead to a wider diffusion and kind of ripple effect of folks getting the word.
Okay, well, I'm gonna put it out there. I think that I think you're gonna, as you know, and you've already said that you have lots of interest just from the applications. I do think that at least from historically, you're gonna have these kids that are great, excellent candidates, but they're gonna fall short of GPA by a bit, et cetera. So, but you say it's competitive, so that's the only comment that I have. But again, will you receive some great candidates? Absolutely. It's just you can find there are some others that were finding their way and found their way, but the GPA wise, you're gonna miss.
I would encourage candidates to probably throw their hat in the ring because, I would say try, because one of the things, I'm big on data and just looking at things. And one of the conversations that I think across multiple entities is being had is this issue of alternate pathways, because the demonstration of mastery comes in different ways. Traditionally, we've used certain kind of prerequisites as as that that's all it can be. But I think now, as organizations are pressured and are exploring how to bring diverse candidates to the table, I think there's an open conversation about what does that mean and what are the barriers are. So I would encourage candidates who have, probably robust side hustles and gigs and can demonstrate that, I know this. However, I didn't necessarily show up to class because I had a job and maybe a kid, and there were other barriers that maybe limited my ability. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I see. I see again this perfect student that I see. Again, she's interested in creative. She's very interested in creative. She did dance, etc. She applied to art school and I guess art and fashion design, but she again, from a school perspective, she didn't feel like that's a fit, but she's looking. But for the thing that she reached out to me to say is that, hey, I feel like I can be a brand manager, doesn't so. And I was like, well, you're gonna need you need all this stuff, and so you need to focus on this first. So I think AdFellows would be perfect for this candidate. But this candidate has 2.89, so cumulative GPAs. That's just reality. So yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, they should probably throw their hat in the ring. It is an ongoing conversation, but minimally you need to have a bachelor's degree. The GPA, the GPA, our goal is 3.0 and it is competitive, but some 3.0 candidates don't necessarily have the work experience. And when we get into the creative and analytics space, that's where I think there's huge opportunity.
Okay. All right. Sounds great. Thank you.
Any other questions? Just in regards to the outreach also, I'm open to coming to events. I know in the virtual world, it's actually one of the luxuries because it limits your travel time and so forth. But if you guys have recruitment fairs, info sessions, similar to how we assembled this one with your stakeholders, with different groups, like you may have a great communications department that may be having something and just want to have a better insight into what this program is.
If you have my email information, Verzion is on our advisory board. We have a college business advisory board, so this might be a great opportunity for you to reach out to some of our sales and marketing students to at least discuss this opportunity, because there's another candidate. Again, she wants to be in public relations, doesn't so, but again, I'm just not sure when she's graduating, because she's trying to get both the marketing and in the comm degrees. So yeah.
Okay, I'll follow up with you. What school are you with?
Tuskegee University.
Oh, Tuskegee.
Yeah. So but Verzion is on our advisory board. I just need to connect you with whom the representative is on the advisory board. So.
Okay, wonderful.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions, concerns?
No question. This is Tammy McNeil from Bennett College in Greensboro, North Carolina. I got my camera on, but I don't know what's going on. Technology. So I'm trying to fix that. I was trying to switch my camera. But anyway, my question is, I would love to have you come and speak to our young ladies. Is there a direct contact email, or is what you sent us kind of how we can get in contact with you?
I'll put my email in the chat and we can quickly resolve that.
Great, thank you.
I'll be your best point of contact.
And those that have graduated, so graduate students last 2 to 5 years, are they still under that GPA requirement as well if they've been in the work field, if they don't have that GPA?
No. So work experience, we do look at the comprehensive candidate. So we, like I said, we would encourage, our preference is if it's a 3.0 within that range. But if you have, one of our last fellows won an Emmy. So we're not going to pay attention too much to how low he was. If, coming into the program, he's already an Emmy recipient for some of the work he's done.
Okay.
So we look at the whole picture.
I've got a student who won an award, and she's a full-figure model, not a model, but a full-figure influencer on social media. And I was thinking of her, but I think she too, like I think Dr. Crumley may have said, she has like a 2.5 when she graduated, but she's been doing a lot of stuff on social media, and I was thinking
I would
about
tell
her.
her, definitely put her hat in the ring. Like I said, it's a standard, but it's not a mandate.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And I'd love to come speak to those young women.
Wonderful. A lot of them are in our entrepreneurship program, so they have a lot of their own businesses as well. So this would be great, a great opportunity for them.
Yeah, I would think so. And just the networks that they're able to build. I mean, on Monday we start our learning labs, and we have the CEO of the community coming to talk to folks. One of our mentors is the founder of Pentagram. So folks are definitely invested. So I think it's a great opportunity to expand, even if it's just entrepreneurship and marketing, but there's a huge space growing there.
Wonderful. Thank you.
The other thing that you mentioned, again, that's what I was saying, just leaning into the data. So the majority of the class are recent graduates. We have about 30% of our class are master's earners. So they, have gone a little bit above, and about close to 50% of our class definitely had side hustles. So that skill set, the end to end, trying to figure out how to keep the lights on and do your thing is resiliency. So there's certain skill sets that ring through that are, looked at. So we encourage those candidates to definitely put their names in the hat.
Excellent. Yeah, our students also take a digital marketing class, and they get, which is a class I teach, and they get a certification after that class that just says that they are able to do entry-level digital marketing. So I'll look at those students who've taken that course as well.
Lovely. Yeah. So I know the deadline is coming up. The holidays are there. So you guys have my email. Feel free to reach out to me directly if you do have a session before the 15th that you'd like me to come speak to. And I'll definitely try to arrange my schedule accordingly. We'll forward you the recruitment toolkit. And definitely it sounds like you have some influencers and some kids who'll just run wild with the information. And we also have a radio post on the Black Information Network, and I can send that out to you because some people are very auditory in nature. So they prefer to hear things. So we can send all of those assets over to you for you to diffuse as you'd like. Cool. And any other, yeah.
Nope. Any other questions for Michelle? You guys have had some good engagement. I'm excited, Michelle, for you to visit Bennett, who's in our backyard in North Carolina, and thank you, Jack.
I had an opportunity. I lived in North Carolina for 2 separate occasions, 2 years. So I was in Fayetteville, North Carolina. They always told me I had to say it correctly. It's Fayetteville, North Carolina, and then Charlotte. And taught in both places. Fort Bragg, I was curious about military population and had an opportunity to jump into Talented and Gifted at East Mech in Charlotte. So love the South.
Fabulous.
Yeah. Any other questions? No? Oh, one other thing I was thinking about, technical school. So a number of you, because I scanned the roster, the classes and so forth. And one of the connections that we're seeing is that there's with vocational trades, which is going to be overhauled, I think, significantly now with this infrastructure bill. Vocational trades, so technical students, so your mechanics, your welders, you know, experiential marketing is about building and production. Many times folks don't realize that. So all those stage and all of the builds that have to happen to have an experience, whether it be at the Super Bowl, Verizon's booth, or, you know, just every element. So I would just say, think broadly, especially as you think about degree holders in the trade space, because production is a big part of marketing. It's a very expensive part of marketing and very rewarding financially part of marketing. And it's very much underrepresented. So there's, I think, opportunities for folks to kind of look at the evolution of, you know, their work, because I think it would be beneficial. Okay. All righty. On that note, I guess we'll give you guys back some time. And, you know, it was a pleasure meeting everyone. Happy holidays. All the best for 2022. I can't imagine, you know, I'm looking forward to 2022. So I wish everyone the best. And feel free again to reach out with any questions.
Please do. We at NACCE feel the same. You guys will receive a recap email with this recording and the recruitment tools and all of those things early next week. So I encourage you to reach out to Michelle. She chatted her email address, but we'll be sure you have that in that message too. If you have any questions, be in touch.
Fabulous. Thank you so much.
Hi, guys.
Thank you.
Have a happy holiday.
Same to you.